shooter and terrorist tragedies have been in the news lately across the nation and the world. What's exactly being done in Oakland County to prepare? Hello and thanks for joining us. I'm Laurel Hassan. This is Comcast Newsmakers. Joining me now is Oakland County Sheriff Michael Bouchard. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Certainly tragedies, terrorist tragedies on large scales have been happening all over the world, but on smaller scales very close to home, most recently in Berrien County in a courthouse situation. Two, I believe, retired, maybe one not, sheriff's deputies were killed while inside of a courthouse. When you see something like that happen, certainly with other officers of the law, what do you think? Sure. Is that something that could have happened as well in Oakland County?
Every time we find a situation anywhere in the world, I get a very detailed brief, usually by the investigator or the chief law enforcement officer of that jurisdiction. So San Bernardino terrorist shooting, or you name it, I'll get a very specific brief so we can analyze what went right, what went wrong, how do we prepare or prevent that from happening here.
What are you already doing as far as best practices, protocol, training in your county to try to prevent these types of incidents from happening? Well,
in Berrien County, that was actually a struggle that took a deputy's weapon, and that was the weapon that was used to kill the two individuals. So we have very specific protocols when you're moving prisoners, how they're secured, how many people are with them. So that individual wouldn't have had the freedom of movement. He was handcuffed, as I understand, in front, but not attached to anything. If he was in front in our protocols, he would have been attached to a belly chain, so he couldn't have moved his hands up or down. Preferably, he would have been handcuffed behind his back, and two deputies would have been moving that individual. So it's protocols, it's equipment, what kind of holsters they're carrying, and all of those things play into creating a safe environment.
It sounds like it's possibly, not to pick on this particular situation, but a preventable, at least in that case, possible incident. If so, why are there not sort of national standards, discussions, national policies and protocol that all police, deputies, officers need to follow?
Well, there are best practices or recommended, practices that come from groups. I'm the head of government affairs for Major County Sheriffs of America, and we usually propagate different best practices, but understand that each jurisdiction is its own jurisdiction. We have no national police force in this country, frankly, nor do we want one. So what you have is it's an individual agency determination, and that ultimately plays into outcomes in situations.
Do you feel, and you may be a little biased, that Oakland County is doing a better job than most in preparing and making sure its citizens are safe?
Yeah, I'm a little biased, but I think we've got amazing men and women. Our training division does an incredible job to pass on state-of-the-art training. It's my job to get them the training and equipment they need to do a tough job, and I think our citizens support that, so we're funded on that regard. We have a full-time training division that passes that critical information on to help keep the public and the deputies safe.
Folks may not realize, but your department or sheriff's departments are responsible for the safety and security inside of all county buildings and many government buildings in general.
Right. We do the courthouse. We do a number of the district courts as well. A lot of facilities, around the community. We're policing the parks, so we're in a lot of places, and then we're also the largest police contracting agency in the state of Michigan. So 16 communities hire us to be their local police department, so we also are charged with taking care of their governmental buildings as well.
Very quickly, are there things that civilian citizens can be doing, watching for active shooter type situations?
Right, on our website we actually have a very specific training for active shooters. That's a big concern to people these days in their workplace or schools. What would you do? And there's really three basic principles: run, hide, and fight. Spelled out on our website with a video. It gives you some ideas what to do, how to stay safe in all different environments.
All right, great information and advice. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Sure, my pleasure.
For more information on today's topic, you can head to oaklandsheriff.com. Today's Comcast Newsmaker was Oakland County Sheriff Michael Bouchard.